Good morning, all. Today, we'll look at the continuation of the previous week's topic on internet addiction in children as well as in adolescents. So, in this part 2, we'll mainly focus on the indicators of how, as a parent or as a teacher, one can identify that there is an addiction, overuse, and what are the different treatment strategies in general, prevention, as well as especially for the teens' behavior on sexual activities online. So under these headings, we will look at the details of today's topic on treatment or handling methods of internet addiction. So there are large number of these social networking sites that are very popular and well known even for children to the young adolescents, like instant messengers, chat rooms, Yahoo chats, WhatsApps, where they share videos and where they can share the photographs, videos. All these kind of social networking sites have very practical and where they are very much useful for the youngsters' learning progress or learning process. But however, all these networking sites has an covered or innate possibility of exposing them to risky sites, especially when they are sharing the passwords, opening multiple IDs, or sharing their passwords with their peers and with someone not known to them. So all these risks will also make the youngsters to exposed to the risk, and they have this customized web spaces where they can create their own space, and then this is also where the perpetrators or people who are looking for these kinds of troubling the young kids, where they are very much watchful of these kind of chat rooms by non-participating, like they just kind of lurking over, and then the risk is definitely there. So looking at how do you kind of make out that a child or an adolescent has, what are the indicators that we can look at that they are having an addiction problem. So if a young child or a teenager trying to spend more and more time on that and trying to hide information, these are some of trying to maintain some secrecy or trying to hide information of the kind of sites they are opening up, so can also be an indicator. Where their otherwise activities, where they're sacrificing offline activities of meeting people or meeting friends or having social activities, and then trying to replace them with these online activities, not necessarily that they may be having a sexual content, but the addiction part. So this is something that we need to look at. And also there is a significant drop or a significant dysfunction in their occupational, especially if it is school going or early college or high school. There is a significant drop in their academics, and sometimes it can mount to the amount of completely falling of the grades from from a nice good above average or top position to completely failing in all subjects. So these are some of the indicators, and also trying to kind of hide the information by using instant kind of other devices like flash drives or pen drives where they can transfer the information, and spending a lot of time in erasing the browsing history. These are all some of the indicators that show that they are trying to kind of focus more and more on the internet usage. So it's hard to kind of determine what is a healthy use, where the misuse is happening, to what extent it is becoming an addiction. So any one of these indicators or all of these indicators may not always give the exact, possibility. It is always important that you look at the pattern, and with each individualized child, sometimes the child may be overusing a particular kind of program or application for a longer period, or they may be using multiple applications and then spending a lot of time. So it is important for the parent to have an observation or monitor them using various devices of filtering or blocking devices, and then which we will discuss a little detailed at a later point. So these are the indications that are commonly found, and there is an increased tolerance level of trying to watch the screen more and more hours, and then a kind of distress or depression or anxiety that is seen when they are denied of net use, or if they are on the prolonged use of the net as well. So, and these are some of the indicators through which that parents need to be alerted. So looking at the treatment modalities or treatment strategies, we will divide them into three aspects: general aspects and specific to the teenage sexual behavior, and preventive aspects to the whole group. So looking at the general treatment strategies that one can adopt are mainly looking at these, since we have already discussed in our previous part one that most of the time, or it is the isolating activity, computer operation or using computer internet applications are mainly an isolating activity. It is important that especially the children and adolescents use the net in high traffic areas like living rooms, or where they are the common rooms, rather than in an attic or in the bedrooms. These are the kind of isolating places where they can get access into these kind of risky sites. So that is one thing, using the internet or permitting them to use, or rather you can use this as a general rule for even the adults who are using the internet at home, even for that matter parents, where using the computer in high traffic areas or common rooms. That is one thing. And usually trying to keep a kind of background picture, or keeping some an external attached figure photograph or pet photographs around the computer area, in order to bring out, or in order to protect oneself from this trance-like state that when they are watching the internet, where they might slip into a fantasy kind of non-real kind of a world. So we can work out on those kind of strategies, and limitation of the number of hours to be used in terms of especially the weekends, trying to focus more on outdoor activities or meeting the friends outside, and also not sharing these kind of passwords, or trying to open multiple sites. Especially teenagers are good at having multiple passwords without the knowledge of the parents. So these are the things where they should be kind of have a common kind of understanding between the parents and the children, where the passwords can be kept like a master list with the parent, whoever is monitoring the activities of the children. That is something that we can look at it. And some of the hobbies, offline hobbies that are sacrificed because of the over internet use or spending more hours on the internet can be rekindled again, where there might be hobbies of gardening or hobbies of, you know, having into coaching into some sports or music or whatever the kind of extracurricular activities they have enjoyed before this online addiction can be restarted, which also will help them in order to kind of cut on the number of hours that they have spent. So especially it is understood that even for an adult, especially the research says that using more than 11 plus hours mainly browsing on these kind of prohibited or objectionable sites is considered to be something related to the sexual internet addiction, and then which can also apply to the teenagers. So these are some of the general instructions that the children can follow, looking at specifically the adolescent sexual behavior, looking at the treatment strategies that some of them, the parents can try to do it at their own comfort at home, are mainly minimizing the use of the internet and working. Second point is mainly for the therapy aspect, where working with the, sometimes the internet addiction can be secondary to other conditions such as having already a set depression, or they're anxious to face the outside world as an escape from facing the reality, or socially shy person or with limited social skills. Like we discussed in part one, low self-esteem children, also all these people are mainly vulnerable, having strain with the family members or parents, relational issues, or kind of attachment issues or trauma kind of problems, where there is a kind of an abuse kind of history, where these are a kind of a reality escaping mechanism. If they have adopted into an internet addiction, then these need to be addressed from a cognitive therapy and as well as CBT perspective as a second level. Looking at the first level strategies, which parents can have some amount of an understanding and then try working at their home front. So mainly here we are looking at minimizing the use of the internet and restricting the kind of applications that they are using, and open discussion between the parents as well as the adolescent children about the need to keep filtering or the blocking kind of softwares that can kind of give a preview of the any objectionable kind of material that is coming up on the internet, and it is openly understood by all of them that it is meant for protecting the total family health. So these are that is one thing that we can look at. And based on the use of different family members, so they can develop a kind of customized program where who will use at what time and how many hours. So this is one thing that need to be tailor-made to each family according to their use. And then there are certain rules such as not to use the internet, especially by the adolescent or young children, when the parents are not around, and only in the presence of an elder sibling who can be responsible, who can be taking the responsibility, or not use the internet in the friend's place or in the school areas. So these are some of the ground rules, and also developing certain kind of customized kind of that is applicable as to which sites need to be are permitted, or which are the sites that where, like say for example, if it comes to sharing a personal information or giving a password, where if you are trying to share it with a person having a request on MySpace, or someone unknown, if you are sharing personal information, it can be very risky. And then, like we have already mentioned, that there can be perpetrators or lurking kind of behavior in the chat room, where they might be targeting these young children. There are certain possibilities like that the children need to be aware of. So not sharing the password even with their own peers, or not opening multiple developing multiple passwords without the permission of the adult. All these things need to be transparent between the adult as well as the children, and also encouraging them more offline activities, especially when with the present situation where online activity is something that no one can avoid, including young children as young as a nursery kid. So it is important that once this basic compulsive attending of the classes, the rest of the day is structured in such a way where there are offline activities related to kind of physical games or extracurricular activities, or just open outdoor kind of activities need to be structured in their daily routine, which also makes them or cut down on this kind of internet kind of addiction. So these are some of the rules that need to be applied. And it is also important that the parents who are, if they are not convinced to use certain rules, acceptable rules, then it is difficult. There is no point in developing these kind of customized rules. So if the adults themselves are addicted to the internet, then it becomes all the more difficult to enforce these kind of customized rules for the entire family members. And it is also important that the parents as young as 10 years or 12 years, where when they are into these multiplayer gaming kind of role playing kind of games, it's important when they are interacting with other players. So if a sudden pop-ups, or if something happens that comes up as an objectionable thing, how to handle this. So an adult modeling is required how to handle, and it is important that the child inform them at the earliest, so that these kind of things can be taken care. So not sharing personal information to an outside person unless they see the person by face on a regular basis, that they are aware that this particular friend, or even the parents are aware that this particular friend exists. So meeting online friends offline is another risk that is increasingly seen in the young adults. And also one need to keep the curiosity and the sexual exploration that considered to be a normal developmental stage, and the same gender parent need to be open to kind of provide the necessary information. Otherwise there can be a dependence on the peers or on the internet activities, going to these kind of objectionable sites for doing these kind of knowing the information of their curiosity, as there is no other resources. So it is important to keep in mind that the resources, mainly when you look at the monitoring, mainly look at that you are providing healthy resources and healthy attitudes of internet use. So looking at a level 2 kind of area, where mainly if they are using the internet addiction as an escape in order to they are already depressed about something, or if they are by nature a socially anxious, or for that matter just shy children, where they are using internet as a way of escaping the reality, even which can also happen with an adult. Roughly all the rules that I have mentioned can also be applied to the adults who are also addicted to the internet, and sometimes keeping these kind of alarms where only to this extent or these many hours that one need to use, and trying to write the negative impacts or negative consequences of overuse on small cards and then carrying them around in their pockets also can be like reminders for especially for the teenagers, in order to develop these kind of healthy sexual non-sexual browsing, and also using the internet for the right purpose. So looking at the preventive strategies, so it is always understandable, or it is always important to understand as early as 5 years of age when the child starts using the internet. So it is important to introduce them the safety rules of which sites to get into, where they are not supposed to enter in, and then how it is important that they should not be sharing their passwords or try to use others usernames or passwords, and not to say mean things on the internet, or not to call names to the people, or trying not to venture into the others privacy. All these basic rules can be introduced by the teachers when they are introducing the computer as a subject, and also by the parents when an young child starting to learn the computer basics. So these are some of the preventive things, and it's also important always that to nourish the extracurricular activities and developing a productive routine for the child, which involves some of the enjoying activities, like if the child is more on the physically active side, like a kind of especially if they have a hyperactive kind of children where they enjoy the physical games, putting them into some structured sports or game playing, or if they are more on the artistic side, or trying to enroll them into art classes or music or dance kind of extracurricular activities, will always give them the peer groups that they require offline. And then they understand that it is important that moderation and healthy use of the internet is more important than trying to kind of sacrifice activities that they like, and then getting into too much unnecessary areas, and especially getting into like a victimization kind of especially with the adolescent, there can be a victimization, or there can be developing into unhealthy sexual behaviors, getting into unnecessary of these cyber kind of sexual kind of areas, or getting into porno kind of sites, and then finding it difficult to either communicate to the parents, or accidentally found out, and they have this fear of losing the privilege completely. And hence most of the times teenagers try to hide the information from the parents and try to save them in these flash drives or pen drives where they can use when an adult is not around. So these are some of the sensitizing issues that I wanted to bring forth. Hope this little video can be of some guideline to the parents, and it is a genuine request from our side that when there is an initial sign of addiction where the children are getting irritable, or not able to sleep properly, or more and more trying to peep into the screens of when they are adults are using, look at it as a sign and immediately act on that and help the young children. And also it also helps the adults to become more conscious on working on their own addiction issues. So, and a word on if the adult is also addicted and then they have some technological limitations, or if as a parent you are minimizing that there is no problem, then all these whatever the rules that we have tried discussing in this particular video can be of not very useful. So it is important as an adult or as a parent, it is important that we are responsible for the behavior of our children, whether it is offline or or online. Thank you all.